What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I do my 10,000 again. Back over here on my old school again. As I said, I always enjoy walking over here. It don't bring back no memories or nothing like that. I just really enjoy the vibe over here, though. So let's talk about Ray J, man. You know, Ray J is one of many celebrities, entertainers that have been known to be around Diddy that are probably gonna, do some damage control interviews. He was on Chris Cuomo's show recently, and some of the stuff he was saying, it just really wasn't that believable, to be honest with y'all. He said that himself and many others, they were not privy to the dark side of Diddy's parties. That's just not believable, man. I'm sorry. That's just not believable. The thing is that people on the outside have been privy to this, which is why they don't go. You got many people who have said in plenty of interviews and plenty of podcasts, they don't go to Diddy's parties because of what's well known to be transpiring there. And some have said they've went, but they left early. That's what Marlon Wayne said in a joking manner. He said he left early. So he admitting that he go to Diddy's parties, but he claims he left early every time before stuff would happen. I don't know if he's just saying that to be funny or what, because I highly doubt that he was being serious, because there's no way he left every time early. Stuff just happened to jump off the moment he left the building. But again, you got people on the outside who've never been to one of his parties. They had the opportunity and they declined to go. Who, it was because rumor had it, or scuttlebutt had it, that certain things was gonna happen there, and that those things were probably gonna happen to you if you were a dude, especially. I remember Orlando Brown said before, and people joked about this, kind of, just made it seem like he was crazy. And dude probably is a little off. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. Orlando Brown do seem a little out there. But even when people are out there, it don't mean that stuff that they saying, there's no truth to it. A guy asked him, because he was on a podcast, as I said, everybody got one now, right? Guy asked him, so you don't take your girl to a Diddy party. And he said, me paraphrasing, because I'm not going to use the same language as him this time, but he said, you could bring your girl, she going to be fine. It's you he wants. So you could bring your girl to a Diddy party. Diddy's not interested in her. Diddy is interested in you. He said, if there is some new booty in the building, that Diddy is getting it. So you, as somebody that is around him, has been to these, you weren't privy to this at all, that's just not believable, man. I'm sorry, it's not. He also said something that I thought was pretty goofy, and it was and this is me paraphrasing again, but it was basically to the nature of, this isn't a time to criticize, it's a time to reflect, or he said it vice versa. This is a time to reflect and not criticize. And on this post, I went to look at the comments because I was curious what some of them were saying. On this post, you had Jemele Hill on there, former ESPN, personality. She's been doing her own thing with mixed success ever since, kind of being unceremoniously booted from ESPN. But that's neither here nor there. I rarely agree with her on anything because, she's just one of those extreme feminist types, and I just never have anything to do with those because they never hold their own accountable. They have all the ire for men when they're messing up, but they are dead silent when other women is doing some deplorable stuff. I've never heard her speak publicly on these these female teachers and the stuff that they've been getting caught up with. I never heard her speak on Malika Andrews when Malika Andrews was going above and beyond to drag athletes, specifically black men athletes, when they would get in trouble. Now, did they deserve scrutiny? Yes. But when it would be a WNBA player in a similar situation, there was no talk coming from Malika Andrews at all. But let me not get too far off on that. Jemele Hill, there you have it. That's why I don't really mess with her. But in this case, when it comes to this, I actually do agree with her here. She said, basically, the problem is we don't criticize. And that's why this stuff has become normalized. Man, even a broke clock is right twice a day. Like, really, even a broke clock is right twice a day. Because when she said that, I was like, wow, she is not wrong. Not at all. Not even close to being wrong. You got stuff happening and no one wants to talk about it. Especially when it's people of color. When people of color do something, it's not supposed to be talked about. Like, it doesn't get... If it's someone of color, especially someone notable of color, it may get talked about then, depending on who the person is. But in many cases, people just want to just ignore it, act like it's not happening, just kind of go away. Even mainstream media outlets will kind of sweep it under the rug. And that's why nowadays people trust mainstream media less and less and less. I've talked to local media here myself. I know a couple of them. And they themselves both told me that what gets discussed on air has to be approved. And certain things they're just not going to cover. It's not about justice or any of that sort of stuff. If certain people don't want certain things covered, the story is not going to see the light of day. This is why you've had this uprising in podcasters, people who do like news style content. Like, there's this one brother, man, he been around for a minute. I think he does really good work. Philip Scott. He been around for a long time. I recently subscribed to him though, because I kind of forgot about him because I really wasn't like watching his type of stuff. But I really appreciate what he does because you can't censor him. He's gonna talk about what he's gonna talk about regardless of who likes it. And that sort of YouTuber, that sort of podcaster, there's been, a surge in them because somebody like that who doesn't have a boss to answer to, they're necessary because he's covered plenty of stuff that I just never saw in mainstream media. And these would be terrible stories that should have gotten attention, and mainstream is just not interested. So she was right. Jemele Hill was right about stuff isn't criticized, and that's why it's becoming normalized. Because the thing is, and this is the hypocrisy of it, when it was Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, these same people weren't talking about, oh, you shouldn't be critical. We should reflect and all that. These same people were not saying that when it came to people like that. But in the case of Diddy, now they are. Really. It just doesn't make sense. I think in the case of Ray J, I personally, and obviously there's no way that I can know for sure, but in the case of Ray J, I'd be willing to bet Ray J is trying not to upset certain people. He has to be very careful about what he says. Frankly, he shouldn't have even went on Chris Cuomo's platform, really. I mean, if you gotta, walk on tiptoes around what you're going to say, bro, just don't go on there at all. Why even go on there? But I think he's afraid of saying certain things to upset certain people. Certain people can make life more challenging for him. Different opportunities will dry up for him. And also, I really wouldn't be surprised if he's been involved with some of the stuff that's happened at these parties, which is why he's trying to downplay it the way that he is. Like, oh, we're all so shocked. Many of us, we're just so surprised. We had no idea of this sort of stuff. It's just really not believable. It sounds like, and this is a bit different, but watch where I'm going with this. Remember R. Kelly's ex-wife? She was on the documentary, and she was talking about how she had no idea Kels was doing any of the stuff that he was doing, and it just was like, sis, come on now. There's just no way you had no idea. Especially one of the girls, she was talking about how she was sitting in this sitting area, living room area, lounge area, in Kel's crib. They was watching the Chicago Bulls game, and she came knocking on the door to ask if she could use the bathroom. So yeah, they had to ask permission even to just relieve themselves. So he gave her permission. She said she came in and walked past her to go use the bathroom. They looked at each other. So, what that girl said directly conflicts what she was talking about she had no idea, she never seen anything. Now, and here's where I'm gonna connect it to. Like her, I also believe in the case of Ray J, the whole denial thing. I saw nothing, I know nothing, is just to not incriminate themselves. Though people probably wouldn't have went after her anyway. She probably wouldn't have went after legally, because she very much was a victim in that situation. So it's unlikely that she would have faced any sort of charges. But just being like, I had no idea, I saw nothing, I know nothing, it's just not believable when you're involved with the person at this level. So I'm gonna leave it there. I appreciate y'all connecting with me. I'm gonna continue on with these steps. Thumbs up, subscribe. Peace.